Welcome to Yagoi 100. Nestled in the heart of the Currumbin Valley in southeast Queensland, Australia, this environmentally friendly house demonstrates a number of amazing features that you will find nowhere else. The house at 1 Yagoi Hamlet is one of several eco-homes in the international award-winning eco-village at Currumbin. With over 35 awards under its belt for design, this estate will set the standards for years to come. The house took 9 months to build. It won the HIA CSR Gold Coast GreenSmart Energy Efficiency Award in 2009. It contains over 100 environmentally friendly features that demonstrate how a residential house can be constructed and operate more efficiently with a much lower environmental footprint than your standard suburban house.
Usually most subdivisions are 80% housing, 20% open space. This is the opposite. This is 20% housing, 80% open space. So it gives you a feel of the countryside and your neighbour's not right on your doorstep. And usually in most estates, all the houses look the same. This is the opposite. Every house is architecturally one-off designs.
The brief was basically for a four-bedroom house, not too atypical from what people would be normally asking for. An office was part of it, which was important to separate those functions somewhat and still have the space integrated enough that it was could be used as a multifunctional area.
Ecologically Sustainable Development, or ESD, is all about creating developments that minimise human impact on the environment while providing superior all-year-round comfort for the inhabitants. It's not hard to achieve. It's often about getting back to basics. The key features include solar passive design, constructing homes that work with the sun and its free energy, not against it. Minimising artificial energy and maximising renewable energy use. Sensitive use of building materials to avoid toxicity in the home and avoid impacting natural resource limits.
There's a little bit more labour in the house built this way because of the preparation of the materials, but the products are usually cheaper, being that they're second hand, so it does make a balance at the end of the day.
The temperature range in this climate is extreme, with summers reaching over 38 degrees Celsius and winters sometimes touching 0 degrees Celsius. Life cycle analysis tells us that building timber homes is more environmentally sustainable due to the material's lower embodied energy. However, to keep a house temperature more stable over the year, it is often important to incorporate some thermal mass inside the house. This house incorporates a long suspended concrete slab. This is polished back to reveal a floor that is low maintenance and provides temperature stability. Thermal mass is always a solid hard material which ensures its temperature changes slowly.
The thermal mass is always a challenge on elevated sites, so you know, touching the ground is probably the best way to get your thermal mass, but in this case to avoid disrupting the site hydrology as well as to avoid cut and fill, we couldn't obtain thermal mass from contact with the ground. So the artificial way that we introduced that into the building was through the suspended concrete slab. Of course, there's a cost to that, so negotiating with the client, we obviously concentrate that suspended slab in the most useful locations and the most, probably the most public, so in the lounge rooms and the family room. And also, of course, towards the front of the house where it's going to get the most amount of north light and heat coming in there.
Blockwork used in homes at the eco-village must be from recycled sources. In this case, we've used Besser blocks recovered from a demolition in the local area. The use of recycled and local materials significantly reduces the embodied energy of this home, because new concrete blocks involve considerably larger amounts of new finite resources and energy to fire them.
Using products that are recycled is probably the first way to help with a sustainable design. The steel, which is normally a very high embodied energy material, was generally sourced as a recycled. As a bit of character, we believe, because you've got the sort of the holes and the nicks and the cracks from the previous use, which just goes to promote the feeling that yes, this material has had a previous life, and it's doing its job again.
Steel contains a significant amount of embodied energy. However, in strategic places, it is the best solution because of its strength and long life cycle. So, we are minimising its use in this house, and where we can, only using recycled steel beams like this one, which is actually an old tram track. Most of the timber in this house is recycled. These posts were recovered from an old bridge in Brisbane. New timbers, which are all from renewable, sustainably managed forests, were only used where it was not cost-effective to use structurally recertified timbers. Demolition experts, eBay and building material auctions are often easy channels to source materials for construction. The kitchen is made out of recycled spotted gum timber and looks amazing.
One can't forget colours and materials in a house in relating to designing for the climate. Not only visually, but also it makes a lot of difference to the internal environment. What sort of colours, the darker colours, are going to absorb more heat and of course re-radiate that and be a little bit more uncomfortable, whereas the lighter colours will reflect the heat to begin with, so that's a plus. However, to match with the natural environment, which is conducive to what the client's brief was, we needed to go with more mid-tones, so sort of soft greens rather than sort of reflective whites, which might be ideal for the ESD, but just for the aesthetics we needed to just tone that down to sort of natural hues of natural brown stones and green to go with the beautiful backdrop of trees, timbers, warm timbers, and really sort of blend that sort of colour palette through the building. But generally it is a fairly light and reflective palette, so we found both objectives to be met quite well.
In this part of Australia, it is very important to protect your homes from termites, which can eat the timber in a home from inside out without the occupants even being aware until it's too late. Physical barriers are placed under each timber post, like a sock, so the termites cannot attempt to penetrate the bottom of the posts. We avoided using materials that contain high embodied energy. The garage, for example, is clad in recycled timber and old corrugated sheeting. The garage door is second-hand and was cheap to purchase. Despite this, it still achieves an amazing rustic yet attractive look. Some of the doors were even recovered from tips and brought back to life. The majority of steel used in the construction is recycled. This demonstrates that the use of recycled material can still be pleasing to the eye, and everything doesn't have to be new to achieve both aesthetic appeal and practicality. Today we are demanding the newest, most fashionable items, despite this often meaning the environment gets put behind in the last place. By recycling, we are also reducing the CO2 emissions resulting from this construction. The house is very well insulated. This helps to ensure the house remains a more constant temperature, making it easier to cool and heat and making it more comfortable to live in. Insulation is one of the most important things to include in homes. Without adequate insulation, electricity bills soar. In this home, the walls achieve R3 and the roof R4. The R stands for resistance, or thermal resistance. The higher the better. Don't forget to ensure your walls are wide enough to cater for the insulation you need. There are recommended R values per climate zone. It's important to use bulk and reflective insulation in the right areas to maximise thermal stability. In terms of the best products to use, we found no significant difference between bulk insulation products themselves.
By well insulating the house, not only will the occupants be warmer and more comfortable in the winter, but also in the summer when shading is provided so that not a lot of heat gain is going on in the house, where the insulation sort of takes up on that and sort of does the rest of it. Also ceiling fans to sort of boost the natural ventilation when there's not as much of a breeze, but actually the orientation of the house helps with the breeze, designing the breezes to naturally flow through.
Orientate your home to suit its environment. Passive solar homes should be orientated to the solar north in Australia to achieve maximum solar gain. This means having a home running east-west longways. This may seem illogical, but with some eaves the right length, It is easy to keep sun out of your home in summer and allow it inside in winter when the sun is lower in the sky. This house is almost free of toxins and volatile organic compounds. It uses low VOC paints, E0 or E1 particle boards, and water-based eco-oils on timber. Using these products costs another 10% more, which is a bargain when you consider the health benefits that will last the life of the home. The windows in this home are special single glazed, low E, meaning they reflect radiant infrared energy. To achieve a significantly higher rating, it would need double glazed windows. Skylights add light for free, but be careful adding too many in colder climates, unless they are very well insulated. The sun produces over 600 watts per square metre, and it is a shame to waste that. On this home, a 20-tube solar hot water system has been used. It is an evacuated tube system based on those used throughout Asia and Europe. It is up to 30% more efficient than a flat plate system. The payback on a solar hot water system is less than 4 years, which makes it a better investment than putting your money in the bank. On the roof is also a 1 kilowatt solar photovoltaic energy system that can generate 5 kilowatt hours per day, which is almost enough to cater for all the energy demands of the entire home. This house's electricity bills will be reduced by 80% because of the rooftop PV system. Remember to pitch your panels and solar hot water system for optimal efficiency and design your roofs to cater for this and system expansion. PV systems are quite expensive per kilowatt for residential systems. Government rebates can make this much cheaper and reduce the payback to around 3 to 6 years. Use a rating tool like Accurate, First Rate or BERS to ensure your home will achieve a high star rating. This house achieves a 7.2 star rating. If termites can keep their homes a very stable temperature all year round, while external temperatures vary between 3 degrees Celsius and 42 degrees Celsius, why can't we? Plant only native species that are endemic to the local area. They will need less water and will thrive, unlike other species that you will have to nurture for their whole lives. The house is self-sufficient when it comes to water. It uses 45,000 litres of rainwater to supply all its potable water needs. In addition, it is connected to a centralised wastewater treatment plant that treats all grey and black water, which is then reticulated back to homes for use in toilets and irrigation on trees, significantly reducing overall water demand. The house contains an innovative end-user touchscreen interface called EcoVision, which shows how the house is using water, electricity and gas, and temperature in real time. This raises awareness of occupants and helps them to manage and reduce their utility consumption.
Occupants of the house are very much in touch with their energy usage, so if one afternoon they've done a bit of vacuuming, they can sort of see the spike and really see the relationship between living and the use of energy.
This house has shown you just a few of the possible opportunities available to make your house more sustainable. Green homes cost a lot less to run and are healthier for you, your family, your community and the environment.
Once you've done it this way, you see the good in what you're doing. I wouldn't go back to any other sort of building. The processes, the methods and the materials, this is the future. I think it's almost experimental, but this is the way everything else will be in 5 to 10 years.
Make a difference from the ground up. Build or renovate your green home today.
you.